Hello everybody. I was planning to have some sort of discussion with Kobe, but obviously we are separated. So I have a fairly long history in games. I started at the company called Sume Interactive in 2004, and ever since I've hired at the time around 350 games professionals in all categories. And now I'm continuing and building. My next venture is a service called Games Jobs Finland, which is going to be opened in a couple of weeks' time. But stay tuned about it. How many of you are working or have been working in a games company? 25%. Okay.
And how many are students usually?
Yeah, how many are students there? Some, okay. How many of you have applied to a games company?
No.
And if you applied and you didn't take the offer, so why? You may spend a minute thinking about it. But I faced this problem, like every time we managed to hire a lady person at my former company, there was a huge hooray coming from the developers' chambers. So like women at last here, because it changed the atmosphere completely. They were so happy to get new people. But the reason why there are not that many women in games is that there is not that much availability. So it's so sad. So like thinking, for example, the technical schools of Finland, there are like 20% of the students are women. And that at the end of the day, that results to the gates of the recruitment. So it's in certain categories, for example, in programming, it's practically impossible to find female programmers. And I could say, so I guess some of you have been reading a book called Blue Ocean Strategy. If you haven't, so please do. But I can say that technology is the blue ocean for women. Because you can't imagine what an effect there is if there is a technically capable woman there. I've seen it before. I used to work in a Finnish mining company and did some traveling and research and marketing in France. And the local lady who was representing this Finnish mining company was a 180 centimeters tall, blonde French woman. And you can imagine the effect in that mining industry among men when the huge tall blonde and a small blonde showed up. So we got all the attention. So that effect is there in gaming also. It is fairly easy to find women for games jobs. For example, in art and project management, localization, that type of jobs that require some sort of humanistic background. But so like, for example, localization, let's think about that type of jobs that require deep language skills and such. These jobs are vanished long gone to other countries, especially from Finland. We do not have any localization teams, or like maybe some jobs there, but that's long gone. So I would say that like if women seek for employment in games, they have to challenge themselves and go for the kind of like the harder professions also. You have a question?
Yes, other companies also looking for tech people. What about writers? Or there was a slide that 80% of the script writers are male.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, so like design is also one of those areas where women can enter, but I still see too few of them.
Please use the microphone so we can...
Yeah, I can hear very well. So I think that it's like, I just bumped up to a research which was talking about the junior high students in Finland, and especially the career guidance during the junior high years, like let's say from 16 to 18, or like 15 to 18. And there was not much like career guidance, and then those are the latest times when you have to really need to think about thoroughly what do you start to study. And if all the examples coming, for example, from your family is that, yeah, maybe healthcare and that type of things, or like language studies, or for example, to me it was like business school or translator of some language. They were the most common recommendations when I was at the junior high. And it was like, it took a little bit of time before I figured out that, okay, I want to study politics and try administrative studies. My sister, we did some thinking, and she has a long background in like she's very good in maths, and she went to study forestry and deeper technical skills in that area. But very seldom you see like quite traditional choices, and especially there are many youngsters tend to do those during those years when you really need to think thoroughly that what is it that pays back and what is it interesting to me. And then later on I've spoken with people that say that if I would have been able to choose differently, I probably would have done something else. And now they are like thinking that how do I get to, for example, to digital media? And also, like, I think that in order to get to games or in any type of so-called these professions that are kind of like mix of technology and content, you really need to challenge yourself and you need to offer yourself. Like, and then in Finnish gaming teams, or like we have this a mentor group for women. So there are some senior women that have really tried to like help others, like students or those that are working, for example, in advertising or in some little bit different areas. We have tried to help those people these women to enter the gaming by explaining thoroughly that what does it mean, what type of skills do you need in order to take the necessary steps to get to gaming. And those steps are not even they are not very hard even to take. There are some real gamers I've been able to find, for example, one product manager. She was working in the advertising. Very nice experience of online. And she was really a hardcore gamer, and the moment when she decided to apply and got a job, all those her teammates, who were all male, said she's more gamer than we are, actually. But she was kind of like hesitant, thinking that, hey, am I the one that like, am I good enough? But hell yes, I said, like, what are you waiting for? Why don't you apply? And then finally she got a job. Now she's in California in a very fancy games company. So, where do we find the people needed? In general, like if we leave the gender out, I say that at the moment we find the people needed abroad. So we are still behind in games education in Finland. There is this and that, this and that schools, this and that lectures, this and that. All sorts of quality levels. And there are frankly some education lines or courses that you could shut down immediately. But then there are very honest and good attempts to train good people, and they need chances, they need like training opportunities and such. And all those that work in the games companies, they have to give them, and all those that know something about games companies and how to get to games and what are the roles, they have to help them. So let's say that there is quite a lot of, in a way there are a lot of wannabes, but there are the peak, the best 5% is quite narrow. Go ahead.
I'm a teacher in a vocational
Can you use the
sorry,
for
yes.
the camera?
Is it okay? Should I push a button or something?
the green one.
Ah, there is one. Okay. Yes, I'm a teacher in a vocational school in Helsinki, Praktikum, Swedish-speaking vocational school, and I have planned to start game education in our media department, and I've been in contact with several game companies telling this, but I haven't received one single answer from them, which surprised me a lot. And of course it's difficult to find teachers in Finland for this, and for us it's almost impossible because our language is Swedish. So I now tell people here, if you know about a Swedish game teacher willing to come to Finland, please contact me. Thank you.
Yeah, so like I say that like it's not even necessary to teach kind of like games, like give games teaching. I would say that it's like the best gamers are done at home. So best game developers, they practice a lot at home. And what I'm looking for always is the real passion. And that means that you sit and you do your portfolio, you rehearse and you do anything. But the basic education, it can be pretty much anything. As long as, for example, whatever you have studied, there is a quality studies behind you. But you just like can't declare that, hey, this is a games-related training, and we will produce masses of these students that will eventually enter to games. If they do not have any passion to games, you can forget it. Because in Finnish games companies, it is still like, they are still very picky, and they have a chance to be picky. They want to see those people that are really passionate about games and creating games.
I was surprised to hear that you said we find the people abroad.
Yes.
So where is abroad and why is that?
Abroad is all over the world. So currently I've got candidates going to like interview to certain jobs in Finland, coming from Brazil or here or there. So like there are certain areas in the world where there are, for example, quite a bit of subcontracting. So there is possibilities to get working experiences. And then on the other hand, for example, in my company we have, like in order to bring new forces from Finland, so we have these transitional training programs that work really well. So kind of like we help people to take those few required steps towards gaming, towards games jobs. There are like 250 people that apply each year, and last year we were able to find 24 jobs for them. And they realized to real full-time permanent jobs eventually, most of them.
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah. Hello. Yeah. My name is Lisa Linden. I'm here from Domsfil in Sweden. I'm going to talk later on. I think maybe when you said that you have to be really passionate about playing and all that, and that the best you recruit best from those who play a lot at home.
No, it's not playing, it's developing.
Developing. Okay. I thinking of maybe of the norm perspective of maybe that exclude women from the beginning. What do you think about that? I mean, because you have a kind of in all areas, business areas, they have different norms about who is doing what, and maybe that's from the beginning exclude women.
No, well, maybe not. It's like that. I've seen these examples that like do a lot at home. So, for example, if you decide to become a violin player, you play violin 10 hours per day, or like also, and I think that it's not even necessarily the one that you do a lot, like you practice hundreds or thousands of hours, but you also put some thought to it. So good ideas come up, and then if you can express very well, so like if I, for example, maybe shoot an excellent portfolio here, I can see in seconds if the person has done some good jobs, so like interesting projects, and people even without any background, any real working experience can get the job in games, but you just like. They're kind of like artists that just like start to create something.
So I have a question about the gaming industry. One would think that this is a very hot industry. I mean, an industry that very many young, at least male, why not female persons really want to get into.
Yeah.
Isn't this the case?
Yeah, of course. There are a lot of wannabes.
Okay. Yeah.
But you can see the like what is the level of the true interest and passion. It is fairly easy to see. One thing, for example, if you apply to a games company and they send you a test, the first step is to return the test done. And of course, if you have done your homework and if you've done your schoolwork, the probability to get to the interview is higher. But there are a lot of people that do not bother sending back the test task. Sometimes I see like 50% do not even bother. So there's a lot of talk, but very little actual action.